Hello and welcome to another lovely edition of the program Teaching and Learning on Radio. Teaching and Learning on Radio is a program that comes your way every weekday on Prestige FM and some other radio stations. And it's brought to you by the Ministry of Education right here in Niger State. We have lots of subjects that we treat every week, every day of the week. We always try to see how we can give the students at home another opportunity to learn while they are home. You know, the pandemic is everywhere. The coronavirus pandemic is everywhere. And so the shutdown and the closure of schools and companies actually made the students are at home right now. Those preparing for WAEC, NECO, and other examinations, I think it's an opportunity for them to stay at home and learn while listening to radio. The teachers, the facilitators will be right here in the studio with us. They will tell us about a particular subject. They look at a subject and a topic, and the phone lines will be open for you to actually call in or probably send a message and ask your questions, and you will definitely learn something. So, well, it's for students at home, and it's brought to you by the Ministry of Education right here in Niger State. Teaching and learning on radio. Teaching and Learning on Radio it is. Well, today we have lots of things to learn, and we have our facilitator in the studio. You're welcome.
Hello, student at home. I'm here to teach you social studies, and our today's topic is socialization. But before we go into the details of the topic, I would like to talk a little bit about the subject itself, social studies. As you all know, the elementary definition of that subject, or this subject, social studies, is that it is a study that deals with interaction between human beings, or as we define it in both primary and the basic secondary school level, as a study of man and his physical social environment. Today we'll be talking about socialization. To ensure the existence or the continuous existence of the way and manner people live and man interact with his social and physical environment, human beings have devised a means through which they retain these cultures they have. And this retention of culture is achieved through the process of socialization. The objectives of this lesson today we are going to achieve at the end. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to, one, define socialization. Two, mention the function or importance of socialization. Why did I say function or importance? In some books, you will see functions, while in others, you will see importance. They are all the same. Thirdly, processes or forms of socialization. Processes and forms are equally the same. They are used interchangeably in some textbooks. And lastly, we shall be looking at the agents of socialization. So firstly, now we are going to define socialization. So what is socialization? Socialization simply means learning the culture and tradition of the people. And this is achieved through constant contact and interaction between human beings in the society. Socialization, I take it again, I say it is the learning of the culture and tradition of the people. And it is achieved through constant contact and interaction among human beings in the society. Socialization enables the individual to function effectively or well in the society. And on the other hand, it allows the society to run smoothly. Two things are achieved through socialization in this regard. One, the individual himself functions effectively as a social human being, not a mere biological human being. And on the other hand, the society gets to what? To run smoothly, and thereby it promotes what? Growth and development. This is the definition of what? Socialization. The next item we say we're going to be looking at is what? The functions or the importance of socialization. Socialization, like we say, seeks to achieve or makes man to be a social human being. The individual is born with a mind that is clean, like a slate. This mind has nothing written in it. That is what we believe. What the individual learns or grows to learn is what he is being taught or what he interacts with in the environment to learn on his own. So like we say in the definition, socialization makes the man to be a social human being. So the following are the functions of socialization. 1, it enables the individual to function effectively in the society. This is because socialization makes people, regards people not like mere biological. I will take that again. Sorry. It enables the individual to function effectively in the society. This is because without socialization, the individual will be a mere biological being and not a social being. Why do we call him a mere biological being? Just cast your mind or give an example in an instance where a human being is born and is taken to the bush to go and grow up. And another person is born and lives with humans of his own nature. If these two people grow up, definitely their behaviors will not be the same. And that is what we mean by the other person will just be a mere biological creature. But here, the other one that is born and brought up in the means of other humans like himself, he learns their ways of life and gets to behave like them. That is why we say socialization makes man to what? To function effectively in the society. Secondly, it makes the individual to learn to acquire his culture. And not only learn these cultures, it also enables the individual to retain these cultures. Culture is the way the people live their lives. It involves both the character and characteristics of human beings. Through socialization, you get to retain your language. You are taught your language. You are taught how to eat. You are taught how to use the toilet and all that. These are ways of life of people. You get to what? To retain these things and equally learn about them. Thirdly, socialization enables the individual to acquire new skills. A child is born. He grows up, he is taken to school. Or the father can take him to go and learn a skill. Through that instance, he gets to what? To learn so many things. If he's in school, he can grow up, graduate, and become a teacher. He can equally become a banker. All these are human endeavor with divergent specific skills. At the informal level, he can become a tailor, a roadside mechanic. All these are skills. And they are learned through the process of what? Socialization. Fourth one is that it is a medium through which moral and religious values are transferred into the individual. Socialization is the process of learning moral and religious values. We have our major religions in the society, the Christians and the Muslims, or the Christianity and Islam. Here, this religion transmits moral values into the individual. That is another importance of what? Socialization. The next one, socialization enables the individual to come in contact with the way and manner other people live their life. Here, the individual must be very, very careful. These are things we learn in our contact with the outside world or through the media, the mass media. The individual must be very careful here. Here you are just to choose the positive aspect of what you see and then leave out the negative aspect. I'll give you a specific example. We do watch music being played in TVs or listen to them in radio, particularly the one that is shown where you see the artists performing on stage wearing some sort of dresses that are not in, I'll take that again, that are not in conformity with your own culture. Please try to eliminate those aspects, because he's an artist and he's doing that because he's an artist. You, on the other hand, you are not. Nowadays you see us wearing dresses that are not part of our culture, which is very, very wrong. We have to be very, very careful in that aspect. And finally, it makes the individual to develop a sense of identity. You are born into a specific family or a specific social group. You grow up to identify yourself with them. In Niger State, we have various ethnic groups. Those born in Zoué, their sense of identity they grow up with is that they are the Nupes. That is the major language in Zoué. In Zumbi, the majority of the people there are the Badis. And if you go to Zunsi, you will see the Kambaris. So their socialization gives you a sense of identity. Who are you? They will ask you, who are you? Say, I'm a Nupe person. And if there is a Nupe man there, or a Badi man, as the case may be, he will learn to identify himself with you. So listeners at home, students that are following us, these are the functions of socialization. The next item we'll be looking at are the processes or forms of socialization. Socialization is a lifelong experience. Socialization does not stop until the individual is no more. As you are born into your family, you start to learn until your life ceases to exist. In this instance, we have the following forms of socialization, and they are in two categories. The first category we have is that of the natural socialization and the planned socialization. The second category we have is that of the negative and the positive socialization. We'll start with the natural socialization, and I will give explanation on that. Natural socialization has to do with the interaction of the individual himself with the environment. Here, the child gets to what? Manipulate things around him. He gets to see the behaviors of elders. He gets to see so many things around him. And from there, he begins to learn, even without being taught, that this is this and that is that. The child gets to learn all these things on his own. He learned naturally as a result of what? Contact with what? The environment. Secondly, the planned, which is under this category. The planned, this is a deliberate effort by elders to teach and train the youngsters or the young ones so that they can adopt the positive behavior in order to live effectively in the society. So in the planned, it is a process of coaching the individual to acquire certain cultural traits in order to live effectively in the society. It can be at the family level, and it can be with the child's contact with others, particularly either in school, the religious body, or the age groups, which we something to come to them later. The next category has to do with the positive and the negative socialization. All these are processes through which an individual can be taught his culture. But in the positive aspect, the child is taught with positive values. Values such as encouragement, values such as caring, such as love. Take for instance a child that is on the farm with his father, who is just learning how to farm. And the father sees the child making an effort. What will the father do in such an instance? The father will encourage the child. This is how to do it. If you do it this way, you will achieve more result. That is what we call positive what? Socialization. You teach an individual by encouraging him, by showing him love and caring. On the other aspect, which is the negative socialization, here punishment and crude method or harsh method is applied. If you do something wrong, you are scolded or you are punished, or something is what? Removed from you that you enjoy. Through this, you get to learn your lessons. Sometimes you commit an offense at home. Your parents will say, I will teach you a lesson so that you won't repeat that again. What the father or the mother is telling the child, invariably or unconsciously, is that socialization is taking place. Next time the child will not commit such an offense. But by and large, people tend to what? To love those that use positive socialization in order to teach them their culture or way of life. And they tend to what? To dislike the method used by the what? Negative socialization. Next, we are going to look at the agents of socialization. And the agents of socialization, we have about 6 of them. First, we have the family, we have the school, we have the peer group, we have the religion or social group, we have the workplace, and of course we have the mass media. The family, as we mentioned earlier, is the first contact the child makes with when he is born into the world. There he learns the culture, tradition from his parents and other members of the family. The school, when a child grows up, he is taken to school. Here he gets to interact with his teachers and other students. And as a result, socialization equally takes place. Peer group, on the other hand, is just an age group or people or students of the same background. The child gets to learn so many things from his friends, like playing football and other skills. The religious organization equally play a very critical role in the socialization of the child. Here the child learns the moral aspects, the do's and don'ts, how to fear God and how to love and care for one another. In the workplace, you grow up and you acquire an appointment to work in one ministry or the other, or in one sector or the other. Here, you meet colleagues. Some are seniors, while some are your juniors. You have to adjust to fit into the environment. You learn certain things from your superior officers. They will give you an assignment and you are expected to carry out. And in this instance, socialization equally takes place. And finally, we have the mass media, which has to do with both the print and the electronic media. Recently, we are using phones, we watch televisions, we read newspapers, we listen to, just the way the students are listening to me now in the radio. Socialization is taking place through these mediums. But like I said earlier, here we have to be very careful in selecting what we learn in the media, because it is not all media that teaches good morals. Some, they teach things that are completely against our cultures and our traditions. So listeners, from the beginning of the lesson, we have been discussing socialization. We look at the definition of socialization, the functions of socialization. We equally look at the processes or forms of socialization, and of course we cap it all with the agents of socialization, where we mention the family, schools, peer group, the religious organization, the workplace, and of course the mass media. I have some questions for you to answer regarding what we have learned. Student at home. First, you should define socialization. Secondly, mention 4 functions of socialization. Number 3, list and explain 4 forms of socialization. 4, differentiate between negative and positive socialization. And the last one, which is a little bit a tricky one here, is you have to list and discuss the agents of socialization. This brings us to the end of the lesson. But before we go, here is our WhatsApp number for more information and questions if you want to ask. You can call the number 090-29-282-040. Again, 090-29-28-2040. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.
That was a wonderful presentation by our facilitator. He taught us a whole lot, and I learned as well, so I believe you've learned something this lovely edition of the program, Teaching and Learning on Radio. Well, join us again next time, that's tomorrow. Join us again and for another lovely edition of the program. You never can tell the subjects coming up, so just be on the lookout. And children out there, and not just children, parents, I urge you to encourage your children to listen to the program. As they stay at home, they learn as well. All right, thank you so much for watching and listening. Bye-bye.